Episode number 2 of Driving with Dad. I figured on this episode, what we would do is talk about our favorite topic, Dad. Rock and roll.
Rock and roll!
Before we do, make sure you hit subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff, and we'll see you on more episodes of Driving with Dad. So, let's get into the show, Pops. When was the first time you remember hearing a rock and roll album, and what was it?
Okay, my sisters were older than me, and somehow as they grew up, they kind of left me some of their 45s.
Okay.
And I remember the first
7 inches. Those are 7 inches. Smaller
the discs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 45 records. I played Chuck Berry, School Days, until there were like virtually no grooves left on the record. I love that song, and the weird thing of it is, I mean, I can sing it today just because I know that song.
Let's sing it right now.
Yeah. Up in the morning and off to school. The teacher, the golden rule. Okay, I can't remember anymore.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah, but
that was good.
That song was like beginnings of real rock.
Okay.
You know, like that was, you could hear that rock sound. It really stepped away from a lot of the 50s music, which was kind of whiny and I love
well,
you
it was a
and
little
all
like,
that crap.
well, if you think about, let's try that again. Okay, as I'm driving down, this is great. This is great. Goal number 1, stay alive on Driving with Dad.
Keep alive.
Stay alive, yes.
Especially on these windy roads. Look
Okay.
out.
So basically, there is a big difference between like kind of the Stones, like you were saying as we were talking earlier, like about like Bad Boys, and then you've got
The doo-woppers, they were all kind of...
the Beatles were a little more the nicer guys, like
Yes,
you were
they
saying.
were.
Because the Stones, one of their early records, they had, I just
They
want
did
to make
Chuck
love
Berry
to you and
songs.
stuff. Yeah, they did.
They did Chuck Berry songs.
Well, that's actually part of the reason. If I stand, I think it's if I'm correct, the Stones one time, that's how they met. Like Keith Richards, Richards and Jagger met because he
at a
saw
train station.
Yeah, they reconnected because he had some albums.
Jagger saw that Keith Richards was holding Chuck Berry albums.
Yes, that was one of them for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Aunt Joanne and Aunt Marlene had.
They had these their 45s. They were established. I was probably, I don't know, I was maybe like 9 or 10, because I played it incessantly to where, I was just into this stuff, and that song. There were some other ones too, like there was a band, I don't know what their name was, but they had a hit song called Cherry Pie. It was cherry, do-do-do-do-do. And you can hear that doo-woppy, the 40s influence on the 50s. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it all layers on top of each other.
Yeah, well, they all do feather together.
Yeah. So, how did you get into a band? Like, what was the first band that like you really wanted to like get into?
Well, I really
like I said, like you performing in the band.
Yeah. Well, my mom got me a guitar when I was like 13, and it was an old K, and it was a beater. It was. I mean, the strings were like that far off the neck. I mean, that I even continue to play is a marvel in itself.
The fact that you still have your fingers.
Yeah. Oh, that was hard on the hands, and I mean, with nowadays, guitars, they're much more responsive, easier to play. But I worked at it, and I mean, I would sit in my room and play for hours.
What do you remember playing? Like
Boogie woogie kind of stuff. Oh,
okay.
no, like do that boogie woogie stuff.
Did you play Walk on That Morning to School Now?
Yeah.
No, I did not
doing
that.
No, I never even tried to learn.
You did. That's interesting.
Yeah, because I thought it was beyond me, and I should have tried to sit down and copy stuff. But the what happened was there was a really good band a couple blocks, just about everywhere. There was bands.
I feel like that was a thing back in the day.
It
a
was.
lot of bands.
Yeah, they were popping up in the neighborhood, and there was a band a couple blocks from me called Lord Ritchie and the Mariners, and they were it, man.
Name.
They were it.
That's a great name.
Yeah, and that dude, Lord Ritchie, was a very talented guitarist, and he had a Rickenbacker guitar. I mean, he had it all, and he turned me on to, like the Stones and the band called Them that had Van Morrison in it.
He's great, man.
Yeah, and
Early Van Morrison's excellent.
well, what happened was, I don't know what happened to their bass player, or they needed a bass player or something, but they went to this friend of mine who had a band called the GT4, and they asked their rhythm guitar player if he wanted to join them and be their bass player. And at that point, he said yes. They now had a hole over here in the GT4, and Tom asked me if I would want to audition. I auditioned, and my brother-in-law's brother, Roby, he was also asked to audition. We were both in the neighborhood, and they asked me to join the band. And so
the K guitar that Grandma got you paid off.
Yeah,
All those hours
got me started
trying to play the hokey pokey in your room.
Oh yeah, I mean, I took music lessons too, and those were like Mary Had a Little Lamb, and I'm like, I can't take this. You know, I really wanted to learn to play rock, and so Tom Beck was pretty good, and he was the leader of the band, and he would teach us songs. He would learn them. He sat and listened to them and learned them. And this is
Mom. Put it on speaker.
Okay, you're on speakerphone, and we are taping.
We're taping YouTube, Mom.
Just started. We're going to get back there somewhere around 1-ish, I hope.
Do you want us to get you some lunch or something while we're out?
No, I want. I was just going to heat up that soup. Okay, all right, bye-bye.
All right, talk to you in a little bit.
All right,
bye-bye.
So you were in
Yeah, so then I got into the
Lord Ritchie, and then you went into where after
No,
that?
I did not. Yeah, I played with Lord Ritchie once.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. I played with him when his band was falling apart. He had a gig, and I was a union musician at the time, so he could actually, because he was union.
Did he use you as were you in Lord Ritchie like a little bit? Or
No,
like...
I never. He at that time, Lord Ritchie had kind of fallen apart, and he had become Captain Foam.
Captain Foam?
Yeah.
That sounds like a bubble bath.
It was weird.
Hey
yeah.
Kids, get clean with Captain Foam.
Captain Foam and something. I can't remember what the
Captain Foam?
Yeah.
That sounds like a Nickelodeon character.
Whatever.
Look out, kids, it's Captain Foam.
Yeah, but it was light years before.
Yeah.
You know.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, so ends up, but that's like way later. I mean, I was out of the herd and everything. So what happened with the GT4 was we came in, and we played at this roller rink in Louisville.
Okay, so
called Shawley's Rollatorium. That's the first place we played out with me and the band.
How old were you in GT4?
Gosh, I gotta be about 13 or 14.
That's cool.
Yes.
So like grandma or grandpa drop you off and play your gig, or your buddies?
I don't know how we got there. You know, when you think about it, I don't know.
Probably drove.
I don't know, right? That's weird. But
so Shawley's Rollatorium.
Yes, exactly. And I remember playing, and I had 2 cold sores the first time we were going out there playing.
Probably stress.
I probably was. And then I remember bleeding, you know, from those suckers because I played the harmonica.
Oh, jeez, so you're all ripped up.
Yeah. That's
well, it was the predecessor.
Impression.
It was the predecessor to Gene Simmons. You know, you were.
I was spitting blood, all right.
Yeah, with the cold sores.
Yeah, you got it, man. But then
that boy's possessed by the devil.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Okay, so Shawley's Rollatorium, GT4.
With the GT4 we played. And then I didn't feel like completely capable of carrying the rhythm end of this thing. You know, I was a little nervous about it.
Yeah.
And I also felt like we could fill the band's sound out a little more.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine, Robert Giro, he was an accordion player as a kid, but he bought a Farfisa organ. And those were the hip things. If you listen to just about every song in that era, you'll hear
is
like
that
96 Tears, like.
Okay. What about the Doors? Like,
yes.
I wanna love you to the end. Is that?
No, more like that was more like, I don't know what he used, but this Farfisa organ was in like, you know, too many teardrops for one to be crying.
Yeah.
I said, can we like see if he could fit in? And he came and he filled out the sound nicely with the organ. We had a 5-piece band now. And so I was like hot on like changing that name anyhow. I
Yeah.
hated the name GT4 for the fact that
What was it? Was it 4 guys in the band, I'm guessing?
yes, but everybody called us the GT4s.
No.
And I was like, 4 is plural already. You don't need to put an S on that. So I was like already done with that thing. And so ends up, I was writing a note to a girl in high school, and I wrote, I heard something, and I was like, how do you spell heard? Is it H-E-R-D or H-E-A-R-D? And I was like, oh my gosh, that's the band name, The Herd, because so many of the band names of the day were animal names like the turtles, the monkeys, the birds, the Beatles. And and this herd was like the Beatles because it was all these animals, and yet it was spelled like hearing. And so I was like, oh, this is great. Like the Beatles was spelled like beat. And I thought, this is really cool.
Oh, that's great.
And everybody,
I love play on words like that.
Yeah, they
'Cause
were
my
into it. The
like
guys
like
were into it.
little subtle things like that, like company logo is a
Yeah.
W and an M because we initially started doing audio, so you can see that
yeah,
for
the
Westwood
wave
Media.
there, the audio wave there.
Yeah,
I love it.
I love subtleties. Okay, so
Cool.
The Herd, and so how?
That we became The Herd, and then I bought the Animals Greatest Hits album, and it had all their hits on it, like Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood, House of the Rising Sun, do 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 do, baby. Sometimes it feels so strange. Yeah, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood.
Don't let me be misunderstood.
Yeah, they had all those hits on it. And what I did was, back then, your record player had that arm, but if you left the arm off, it would go back, and once it finished the album, it would start it over again and replay. And I did that all night long, every night of the week for a week. And at the end of that, I knew every word to every song.
Can you still
on the
sing it
Greatest
right
Hits
now?
album. Yeah, I mean, I do know a lot of them. And so I gave the album to Tom Beck, who was the leader of the band. And I said, learn these songs, I know all the words. So we ended up going that direction, and we ended up sliding away from hot rod, pop, rock, surfer music into more of heavier blues-based.
Via the Animals in the Herd.
Stones
in the
and
Herd.
the
Okay.
Animals, the Stones.
A little more of a punk edge.
Yeah, getting a little dirtier and not being, the sweet voice. We did do Beatles songs though too. I remember Tom learned 8 Days a Week. He learned Nowhere Man. We used to do that one.
Yeah.
You know, and like, ooh, I need your love, babe. That's 8 Days a Week.
Was Hey Bulldog was on?
that
was
wasn't
Yellowstone.
that
was
wasn't
later.
out yet. That had not been
Okay.
created yet.
Okay.
So, yeah. So we would do a lot of that. We did Tommy James and the Shondells. I mean, we weren't just pure.
That was
No, we didn't do that. We did.
That song is so bleak. That's literally just some guy on the microphone going.
Crimson and clover,
Yeah.
over.
So it's like,
Help me.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's exactly how they did it too.
yeah. It is. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's, whatever.
Okay, yeah, but we did something that I think I'm alone now.
I think I'm alone.
Doesn't do.
I think
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's exactly how they do it.
Thank you for watching.
Enjoy
right.
the show.
Okay, so you were in the Herd, and what happened after that? Like you were doing like the
Yeah.
Animals, bluesier, edgier stuff.
Yeah, and then some guys came up to me at Lake Cable Beach one time.
Northeast Ohio. So Pops is a Northeast Ohio guy. Go Browns.
and asked me if I would ask Chris Noon, who was in a band called the Chantels.
Chantel.
And yeah, and they were good.
Sounds like
those
a
guys
perfume.
could
Sounds
read
like a
music.
perfume.
I was really impressed. They could read music, and they did weddings. They could play a polka, which was like, what? I was I was averse to that, but I was impressed by it also. But
I can get down with a polka.
well, they played weddings, and they were fairly professional. I'd have to say, they stood out. And
So this Chris Noon was.
yeah, Chris was
Okay.
in that.
Fast forward to
And-
not too long ago, you reconnected with
Yeah,
old
yeah.
Nooner, we'll call him.
Yeah, but ends up they asked me, because Chris went to Central Catholic, those
Okay.
three guys went to Jackson High School, and they asked me if I would ask Chris if he wanted to join the band with them and me and become another band.
Okay.
And I was like, all right, I'll
So
ask him.
GT4, the Herd, to
Yeah, I was going to be pulled out of the Herd. Chris would come out of the Chantels, and these three guys from Jackson who were trying to put a band together, we became the One Way Crowd. So that was like the
see
second
the
band I
Herd.
was in.
The Herd was a great name. So you went from GT4 to the Herd, ding, back down to
One Way Crowd, like whatever. But we practiced over Easter break, and we were like amazing. We had like 5-part harmony. We could do hollies. We did actually do Look Through Any
bus
Window
stop.
Now. Yeah, you got it.
It's like my umbrella.
Exactly.
All the people. Yeah.
Yeah, we should harmonize. But
Take it.
Stop.
and if the Shondells did it, it would sound like that.
So, but wait a second. Before we get to the One Way Crowd, when you were in the Herd,
I was still in the Herd, and I was forming the One Way Crowd.
Okay, when
and
did
he
the-
was still in the Chantels, and he was forming the One Way Crowd with me and those guys.
but the people need to know the Heardmobile.
Oh, yeah.
When did the Heardmobile come
Yeah.
into existence?
Yeah, my dad had this. He had a company where he painted stripes on parking lots, and he bought an Apache van. I figure it was like a 68 Apache van, and it was a panel van. It was like vans were really not used by families; they were used by businesses, and so it was like a delivery van, you know, and. He had this thing, and it was a white van. He bought it used, and it was perfect for loading all the equipment in when we'd go to a
Yeah,
gig.
you got guitars,
And-
drums.
And so I took masking, a black electrician tape, and taped on the body of the right-hand side of the van, the Herd.
Do we have a picture of the Heardmobile?
No, I wish I did, you know. But it was very rudimentary, just black electrical tape that I taped the name on it with.
You know what we need to do?
Yeah.
We need to have AI splice in
Yeah.
a picture of
An old Apache van with
old Apache panel van
Yeah.
with electrical tape that says the HEARD, the Herd, on the side of it, and put it in now. There we go.
Boy, that was perfect.
That was great. It's amazing
that's
how it just
exactly
works.
what it looked like,
It's
too.
yes, exactly.
I wish.
I gotta know, the Heardmobile was like a local taxi after your gigs, right?
Well, what I would do is when we played at this thing, it was called the Lake Cable Dance. It was out on the beach, and it was so cool because they had a stage, and when we played there, I would pull the van up behind the stage and just leave it parked out enough that you could see the Herd on the side of the right-hand side of the van. The left-hand side, I didn't put the Herd on it because really it was my dad's business, and I didn't want, him not to be able to.
Grampy striping business.
Right on. And so, so I would park it over there. So people knew, and knew me, chicks specifically, knew me from being on stage and being, part of the Herd. So when I would go, I would go to the dance when I wasn't playing there. I would scout around for chicks. So I'd see pretty girls that I thought were worthy of talking to.
Worthy of talking.
And I would just walk up to them and talk to them and ask them if they needed a ride home after I talked
So
to
you
them.
just
for a
roll
little
up, you just, would you be driving or you just be at a...
No. I was at the dance. I was
okay.
on the beach standing
Okay.
there, just walking around as they were partying. I was one of the people who were enjoying a concert from another band that was there.
Oh, and you'd be like, hey, baby, you want to ride home?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
But I would talk to them, and they'd get to know me, and maybe dance a few dances, and ask them if they needed a ride home later, and then I'd hop from chick to chick, and sometimes, I at least 6 chicks would say okay, and so we'd when the dance was over, I'd say okay, and I had like a pack of chicks that, okay, we're all gonna get in the van, and I'll take you all home. And,
That's right.
and-
But how would they react? They think like, oh, David loves me.
Yeah,
and
I
then suddenly...
have no idea. Kind of like The Golden Bachelor is how they reacted. They were hurt, but
They
were thrilled
understood.
that they were still
They still needed a
they
ride
were still
home.
in the van, and that's at least a plus, you know.
All right.
So
That's right. But there were no roses handed out.
Yeah.
There were
Yeah,
just drives home.
I don't know if I could go there, but yeah. So that was what we were doing. And the guys in the band would not be taking them home too. So they were in the back having fun. It was rolling around, and I would drive like a maniac, and it was just, you know, teen insanity.
All right, so Pops, you were in the GT4, and that basically came the Herd,
It morphed into the Herd.
and you
that's
were
correct.
in the one-way crowd at the same time as the Herd?
Yes, we were forming the
Okay.
one-way crowd at the same time, as well as Chris was still in the Chantels. We didn't quit those bands. We just formed another one.
You were
that
in
we could fill in the
concurrent
blanks with.
bands or whatever.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so what band was after that? What band was after the Herd?
I went to college. The GT, I mean the one-way crowd. People. The guy's house that we played at, Jim Rosenberg, I believe was his name. His dad had a plane, and he said he was going to take us to Nashville and fly us to Nashville and see about recording. I mean, we sounded pretty good, I have to say. Like I said, we had 5-part harmony, and we all could sing, and Vietnam was raging, and I was like, I gotta go to college, otherwise I'm gonna go to war. So I was like, I really have to do something.
College
here.
or war?
Yeah, death or go on with your life.
Almost certain death, or
Yeah.
you can live.
Yeah, and so I was like, I had to quit the band in order to go to college, and I went to Bowling Green University, where I heard it was a pretty good party school. So I thought, let's go there. I don't understand why my parents were like, no, you're not doing that. You're going to go to some community college.
Well, you didn't tell Grandma, Grandpa, like, I'm going there to party, or you just...
Well, that's one of the reasons why I picked it.
But so you just were like, oh, this
Let's
one
go
could
to Bowling
work.
Green,
Wink,
yeah.
wink. Yeah, let's go to that
That's
school.
what we should do, yeah.
So you went to Bowling Green,
Yeah,
and
that pulled me out of the
the band
everything,
circuit.
Everything entirely.